and it'll happen the way you least expect. Truly sad. So definitely gotta appreciate life, no matter what, no matter what's going on. But this is insane, you know. And I just wanted to open up with that. Prayers go out to their families. Yep, it looks like it's confirmed. All 5 passengers believed to be dead after implosion. Hope everyone's feeling well. I know. Just giving it a few minutes. Welcoming everyone for episode 78. I want to welcome everyone on Instagram, welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube. Appreciate you joining us, taking the time to join in, to listen in. Really appreciate it. It means a lot to us. There goes Pastor Carlos. He's on. He looks like he's connected with us. Let me go ahead and send him a request. Let's see, where are we? Go send it again. Once again, welcome to episode 78. Also wanted to mention, for those who are used to seeing the notification for the episode, for some reason, it looks like, I'm not sure if it was, I kept looking into it day by day. It seems like on the profile it wasn't showing the episode for some reason, but the episode was scheduled. I know usually for those who are clicking on the notification to get notified 2 days before and the day before, there's been issues with that. So we will be working more on posting it on our story. That way we can just remind everyone and let everyone know when we're going to be connecting. If anyone wants to go ahead and share our live as well, or scheduled live. There's been a lot of like updates probably on Instagram, which is the reason why there's been glitches. It hasn't been showing. I know for the whole week it didn't show the scheduled live. So we'll definitely work on that. Okay, I see Pastor Carlos sending a request to get them connected. There we go. How's it going, big bro?
Chilling, little bro, chilling.
Good,
Not
man.
sure what was going on, but
Not
we're
sure.
connected now.
Yes, we are, man. How you been? All right?
Good, little bro, good. How about you?
It feels like it's been a while. Good, man. Good. Took
It's been a hot minute, little bro. It's been a hot minute.
it's definitely been a while, man. Got up from a nap, so right before we got connected, but we're ready to take on this live today, man.
Let's
Um,
go.
I did mention in the beginning, I was following up on the news, man, with the Titan submersible, man. It looks like all five passengers passed away. Have
Yep.
you heard about Ocean Gate,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. With the sub, it looks like it imploded. And one thing I do want to say about that real quick is, I know a lot of people, for the most part, sending condolences and all that stuff.
Yeah,
That's good. That's beautiful for people to do. But one thing that I do have to say that saddens me, and it's like this is why we tell y'all, like, I mean, we're thankful for Instagram and all the social media being like a tool for us and all, but at the same time, it's crazy how it's like, bro, within minutes, the amount of memes and jokes that I've seen people post about
oh, I
the
haven't seen
situation,
that.
it's like, come on, man, seriously. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about. I know some people believe in conspiracies and all that other kind of stuff. But bottom line is, if you don't know for 100%, like if you're not 100% certain of the facts regarding what you're speaking about, don't make fun of it. Like, because there could be people behind it that are really suffering through it, hearing in terms of hearing what happened and everything, families that are affected and all. So don't crack jokes. Really, that's, and it's good for those of y'all that are like, man, nah, I haven't even seen the jokes or nothing like that. That's kind of crazy. Like, how could somebody do that? But this is also why we tell you, stop making social media your primary focus of your life and everything like that. Because for a lot of people, trust me, your own situations to them are a joke. You know what I'm saying? To them, it'll be fuel for something that they can laugh about or whatever it is to make themselves feel better about their own life. So it was, unfortunate what's happened, but at the same time, hopefully for some of y'all that have seen those jokes and everything, a learning lesson. Because believe me, they'll be willing, if they're willing to make fun of a stranger, they will be willing to make fun of you, considering the fact that many people are backstabbers behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been saying. So uh, unfortunate.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this is a good comparison what I'm about to bring up, but it's sad because, one thing, information does travel fast on social media. It's a good thing and bad thing. Like even incidents that has happened in the past to people where whether it's led to death or not, it does serve as evidence, right? But then at the same time, families do deserve privacy. And just imagine like a video circulating, going around, and it's like the family shouldn't be seeing, how their parent or relative or friend passed away, how much they suffered in that process or how they were injured. Everyone deserves privacy, and I know that people on social media, they tend to make jokes out of it, one way or another. So it's a good thing and bad thing. Big Bro, what you brought up with in this case, I haven't come across, but I did come across one video which I was actually surprised. And when I saw that video, it wasn't on the joking side, but kind of. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe this video was made early, but regardless of it being made early or late in the news or updates, it's really sad. And just imagine how the families of those five passengers, how they're feeling right now. Um, yeah, we hear on the news how they were wealthy, but wealthy or not, it's still life, right? We're talking
Yep.
about lives here. We're talking about humans. And regardless of whatever decision they made, that's on them, And to me, the way that I saw it, in the past, I would have had a different mindset. Especially like we would all judge, right? Like, why would they go down 16,000 feet, especially something that wasn't really approved, or safe, especially by the engineers, right? But we don't know what was their purpose. Like, what was the reason for them to go on this trip? We're talking about people that might even care about the the ocean life. They care about studies just in general, because this is not the only time where something, tragic happens. But this is how we see a lot of advancements in technology. But knowing the gentleman from Pakistan, um, billionaire from Pakistan, to bring his son on this trip, I'm sure that there was just more to just see the Titanic remains. Like maybe they wanted to see like what are the possibilities on this trip? Like what is it that we can learn not only from the remains, but from just the ocean life in general? Obviously things went wrong, you
Right.
know. Um, but it's truly sad. It's truly sad.
And
We
and that's one of those things too, little bro, not to cut you off, but
yeah.
people need to be very careful because some people will be like, "Oh, that's what happens when you got too much money to get into this,
Hmm.
to get into that," and make all their comments, right? But unfortunately, the same could be said of any circumstance. You got people that, for them to be able to take a trip hiking, let's say to the Grand Canyon, to Mount Everest, you'll be like, well, why would they do that? If something bad happens to them, right? It'd be like, well, why would they do that? Well, you know how many people do that and nothing happens to them? You know what I'm saying? Like, or even something like Mount Everest. It's very few the amount of people that actually climb it, but it's still something that has been done. The same way that you do have people that have gone in submarines consistently. You do have people that do deep sea diving, scuba diving, and all that stuff. There's always, we could go with what you call it, people that jump out the planes and go skydiving. You'd be like, why would you skydive? I
Yeah.
remember one time, when I had just moved here to Houston, I was helping to bartend, and I remember this guy that I was talking to, and he was talking to me like real casual about skydiving, and just having like an honest conversation there and everything. It caught me by surprise when he was like, "Yeah, I do this constantly. We got a crew that we go down, or rather we go up to go skydiving, like once a month or once every couple of weeks. So it's like a consistent thing, right?" But I remember him sharing, when I was like, "Oh, okay, what you guys plan to go out anytime soon?" And I remember him saying to me, "Well, we're probably going to go out soon to celebrate the life of one of our guys." I'm like, "Oh, wow, what happened?" "Yeah, no, we're going to spread his ashes and all that stuff." "Oh man, that's sad. How'd he go?" "Skydiving." You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And it's like, but you could say, well, what are these people doing being crazy going skydiving? But and that's the thing. You could say, well, you could say for these people they had too much money. Then for the skydivers, you could say they have too much money or time. Then for the people that go hiking or go up Mount Everest or go into the Grand Canyon, you can say the same thing. Like that movie, 127 Hours, where the guy got trapped in the Grand Canyon and eventually sawed off his arm. That's a true story. And you could say, well, what was he doing? But we could even go down, and I know with this one, little bro, it's a sensitive subject. We can go down to people that we know growing up, family even, that for them it was like, well, we know we have a cousin who passed away, and how did he pass away? The question could be asked by many, well, why did his parents get him such a souped up car? What does it
Yeah.
matter?
Hmm.
What does it matter? It's not your business.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to live the other person's life. You can't make that claim
Hmm.
because the whatever they were doing was possibly not the not responsible ultimately for their death. It was the decisions of each person. You know what I'm saying? So you have no clue. So you can't go dictating. And this is where we get into the sensitivity part of it. You cannot dictate somebody's decisions. You can't go out there and start saying, well, this is what happens because they did this. Because I'm sorry, that's just insensitivity. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people really need to chill out, calm themselves, because you know what? We can go in, we can essentially look at economic, social levels, age levels, and everything to start making determinations as to what's reckless and what's not. The same way that I mentioned already, these people was having all this money to go to the sub. Well, check it out. Bezos and Elon Musk, and the dude from Virgin, whatever. They've been trying to go up to the moon and they made it. What if something would have happened to the rocket? Then you would have been, out there and you would have said, "Oh man, how reckless!" That's what happens to these billionaires who spend all this money trying to get to space. If something happens, it would have been a tragedy. But the comment would have been, "This is what happens because they got too much money." But nothing happened. So you have people that are like, wow, that's amazing that, outside of NASA, that they were able to get engineers, and that this is now going to open up the possibility of being able to have people being able to fly to space. I want to put things in perspective for y'all. When planes became a thing, it wasn't just your average person that rode a plane. There were levels to this. You see what I'm saying? So there's so many different things that have to do with classes, that have to do with age, that have to do with so many different things, that you could knock anything as being irresponsible based on age, based on socioeconomic standards, based on education, on so many different levels. But when a tragedy like this comes, come on, people, we have to be better. We really have to be better. So I applaud those that have been, empathetic and sympathetic to the family and the situations. That's how it should be. But for those that are making memes, those that are cracking jokes and all that stuff, come on, y'all. If you were balling out like that and you had the means to do it, and it happened to you, you wouldn't want people cracking jokes on you. We have to do better with that. We really do. Because you don't know your next minute. You don't know your next moment. You don't know the next circumstance. You know what I'm saying? You could have somebody that says, "This is why I always ride the train. That's why I don't fly." Then you can have the person that says, "This is why I always take a car, because the trains can derail." We've seen more derailments of trains than crashes recently. You know what I'm saying? Then you can have the people that can easily say, "Yo, you are more likely to die in a vehicle than you are to die in a train or a plane." You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Then you got people that you get down to the very point of people being able to say, "This is why I don't leave my house." Because unfortunately, there are people that don't leave their house ever and live their life in fear. And then because they don't really get sunlight and all that stuff, they die of not having, deficiencies. And then you got people that will clown them and be like, "Well, why didn't they ever leave the house?" Live your life.
There's always people looking from the outside in.
Exactly. It's so easy for you. Live your life. Everybody's called to live their life. Biblically, even. And I'm talking to y'all now from a biblical level. Biblically, it talks about worry about your own salvation. Worry about the speck in your eye. Worry about yourself. It's like, it's there in the spiritual with what the Bible says. It's there in the practical, Come on, people. For those that have been like, "Oh man, it's so lighthearted," whatever, we got to stop poking fun. Mm-hmm. Like, seriously, mm-hmm. It's shameful. You know what I'm saying? Worry about you. Worry about how you handling tomorrow. Because believe me, whatever nonsense you're doing, there's somebody that if they knew about your nonsense will be like, "How could you let something like that happen?" And we're not even talking about life or death situations. You could, you could have some
very simple.
Any simple thing, how you let that relationship fall apart. I would have never done that. I would have done this. Well, it's easy when you're on the outside looking in.
Exactly. It's easy when you're 2020. It's very, very, very easy, which is why, we as humans, we learn things the hard way, right? There's some of us who have been there, done that, and this is why we are gaining more experience. This is why we are much wiser than we were yesterday, because of what we've gone through. It's very easy for you to look from the outside in and criticize and have your opinion. And of course, everyone's entitled to their opinion, which you got to let that be. But you got to make sure that you, like you said, big bro, you got to worry about you got to worry about you. Worry about your family. Right? Don't worry about what other people are doing. Just learn from them. Learn from that situation, whatever it is, any decisions that are being made, whatever's happening out there, learn from it. There's been situations that we've been in that we would never see ourselves in. And now we get a little taste of what that person went through in their past, or we get a better understanding of why people make certain decisions. It's all based off of experience, or sometimes even inexperience, because they just had no idea, but they learned from that. We all learn from the good and the bad, which is why we got to be very careful. Oh, I would never do that. Oh, that would never be me. You got to be very careful, because the day that you think it would never be you, remember, one day you're going to have children, and it may be them. It may not be you, but it may be them. And now you're going to find yourself in a difficult situation because you were criticizing others, or you were judging others by the decisions that were made, or, by the things that they've gone through, but you never saw yourself going through it. And no one is exempt. You gotta be fully aware that whatever someone else is going through, you will go through it eventually. You may not, but the whole point is never compare yourself to someone else, your situation to someone else's situation. Never look down on people, because you might need that person. You might need that person. You might have to reach out and be like, hey, I remember you shared, X thing on social media, and crazy how I'm actually going through that right now. Can you help me? Can you help me get through this difficult moment? Can you help me get through this trauma? Can you help me find a way out, find a solution? Because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. We're humans. We're not perfect. Just make sure that you learn from any situation. Make sure that you are learning as you go, because there's a lot out there in this world, and even if you don't go through a similar situation, you're gonna find yourself in a situation regardless, and you're gonna be the one that's gonna have the answers, not only for yourself, but for others who are going down that path, for others who are going through that situation. And it's very important because, you know, we, for as long as we're alive, we're going to go through it no matter what. We're going to go through it. Never think that, oh, even if you're stable today, it doesn't mean that you won't be going through it tomorrow, or, next year. Obviously, we don't want to wish the worst on anyone, but we have to be fully aware that we are going to go through it no matter what. It can be good, it can be bad, and it's not always going to be good. But the same way, it's not always going to be bad. Remind yourself, all these moments are temporary. Knowing how to take advantage of these moments, knowing how to be grateful for these moments, because we're not here forever. You gotta kiss your loved ones on a daily. Remind them on a daily, weekly, monthly basis how much you love them, because today we're here, but you're not gonna get those moments back every day. I understand that some of us are stuck in a routine, right? Can some of us agree? We're stuck in a routine, and we think that we're each and every day is going to be the same. No, the routine may be the same, but you're not going to get those moments back. And when you're sitting at that dinner table, when you're sitting on your table with your loved ones, your relatives, your friends, just keep this in your mind. You don't know if this person's going to be here tomorrow. You just don't know. Big Bro mentioned how there's tragic moments, there's accidents, there's things that happen, there's decisions that we make that may or may not be good, but we're learning as we go. We're learning as we go. We're realizing these things as we go. And based off of what we've gone through, what we've learned, is how we lead our children, our siblings, our the people that's looking up to us, the people that are looking up to us. And we got to be very grateful to be here and to be able to actually give this information, to be actually to be able to express ourselves, to be able to speak on this, because there's people who had plans today and they're no longer with us. Just in general. If whatever you got going on, be super grateful for it. Continue to pray for more, to pray for maintenance, for healing, for recovery. Continue to wish well, not only on yourself or your family, but on others as well. Whenever you come across a negative post, someone being bullied, someone being joked on, or whatever's happening, pray for the people who are commenting and not focusing on sliding in their DMs to make them feel better. Instead, they're making them worse.
Yep.
Pray for them. Pray for them. Don't be a part of it. Be different. You know, if you're gonna comment, make it different. If you're gonna go ahead and reach out to that person via DM, make it different. You don't know what people are going through out there. You don't know why they make the decisions they make. They might be fed up. You know, they're setting for your side and they're just YOLOing their life because they're just tired. Or they're YOLOing, you know, we all YOLO our life somehow, some way. Some of us may be careless at some point. We've been there. And then we've looked back at ourselves and we're like, man, we were foolish to think what, you know, the way we were thinking before, to put ourselves in these environments that were actually putting our life at risk and not even realizing it, but you realizing it now because you have a family that's depending on you, because you're no longer single, because now you got things going on, but you didn't before. You got to be super grateful for the down. You got to be super grateful for the up. And remember, just because you're not going through a situation doesn't mean that you're entitled to criticize. You're entitled to give your opinion and not understand other people. Because eventually, either you're going to go through it or you're going to have a relative or a friend that's going to go through it. And how are you going to feel whenever it hits close to home? Whenever it hits close to home, that's when we learn the most, right? That's when we start realizing things. And we should just realize that we should look at these situations, these tragic moments, these you know, the news or whatever it is that we're seeing out there as a reference. Like, man, really this happened? Okay, you know what? I got to be more careful. Let me let my little one know about this. Let me reach out. How is his family doing? Let me start helping out. Let me start helping the community the best way I can to help prevent these situations. You know, you'll find your own way. It all starts from your household, right? It all starts from your household, and this is why you see a lot of people out there volunteering and doing so much for their community, not only for themselves but for their community, because they feel they're empathetic. And I feel like that's what we need more of in us and in our household and in our community. Empathy. That would make the world such a better place, a much better place. Slowly. It's not going to happen through one person. It's going to happen through a group. And that group influences the next group. And then you'll see the spread. The same way social media can easily influence you through all the negative content. There's a lot of positive content, but it seems like the negative gets more attention. It seems like the negative gets way more attention than the positive content. And it's not right. We don't have to wait for something to happen. We don't have to wait for someone to commit suicide, for homicide to take place, et cetera, for us to realize how precious and how valuable our life is. We don't. We just have to remind ourselves that, hey, you know, we got to be super grateful for who we are today. We got to be super grateful for the things that we've gone through. And don't beat yourself up whenever you're going through difficult moments. Don't. You know, there's moments when I do myself. You know what I mean? But I make sure that I don't let anyone else feel it. And you know what? If I have ever made anyone feel what I went through, I've apologized. I've spoken up, you know. I've grown out of those situations. I've grown out of the ways that I used to react. I've grown out of it. But we can't beat ourselves up for not being perfect. We're all sinners. We've all sinned. For as long as we're on this earth, we will sin eventually. But it's all about learning from those sins, learning from it and understanding that we will be forgiven. But because we will be forgiven, it doesn't mean to continue to do what you do, to continue to see things the way you see it. Learn from those mistakes, learn from those errors. Make your life better by learning from it, by doing better moving forward, by helping someone learn from their mistakes, by helping them learn how to move forward from whatever it is that they're going through, and reminding them that they're not perfect, reminding them no situation is going to be perfect. Nothing is the way you see in movies and series. Is not. Your life is totally different. Whatever it is that you're learning from a documentary, whatever it is that you're learning from series, from TV shows, from movies, use it as reference, but it doesn't mean it's going to go the same way. And when we're talking about physically, right, what you're watching physically, you can see what's happening in a movie, but you can't really feel what a person's going through in that moment. You really got to work hard to dig deep into those emotions, into that mental state. It's like watching The Pursuit of Happiness. We all know what the purpose is for that, the great messages that movie has. We all know what it is. But will your situation be identical to that one? It may be even worse. But are you going to lose hope? Grab the message, apply it to your life. Same thing goes to any given situation. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy. I can say myself, you know, it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy. But am I out here complaining on social media? No, I'm still spreading positivity because that's what we need.
Believe
more
me,
of.
we could complain.
Yeah.
We could complain.
We could complain a
Trust
whole
me.
lot, but we're not going to do that because we're not going to entertain that. We're not going to entertain that. And you know who suffers the most is our loved ones because they see us every day, every hour, every minute. And sometimes you don't even got to speak. They can just see the way you move. They can just see the way it's been a little different. They can just see that, man, it's a difficult moment, but they also ask themselves how you do it, how you get through it. You know, you make it look so easy. And many things, you know, there's a lot out here it's gonna get tough. It's gonna get tough. We've spoken about it in the past, in the previous episodes, how we are living in interesting times and difficult times, and it doesn't mean that we're not gonna get out of this, because we will. But it's all about us having these conversations with each other. It's all about us putting our experience out. We're not out here flashing cars. We're not out here flashing money. We're not out here flashing opportunity. We're not like, hey, look what we got going on. We're not over here selling you a course to make our situation better. We are the course. Our transparency is the course, free of charge, open to everyone. This platform is open to everyone. Are you willing to give your testimony? Are you willing to open up and speak to others about your situation so we can learn from it as well? Because we're not gurus. We're learning. We're still learning. We're still growing. We're still applying every experience, the pressure that we go through. We're putting it out on this platform. We're not over here covering up. We're not. Everyone's entitled.
And I want to give a shout out to those that have shared their testimony so far.
I was just
because those that have shared their testimony, bro, I've heard, you know, in a week or 2 or 3 weeks after that, people that will be like, yo, what this person's had to say really impacted me, whatever. And that's the beauty of, you know, when you have a transparent platform like what the Lord has had us do here, that it's not self-serving and it's not just for us, and other people start to share their testimony.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that more are coming. You know, some of them are going to be testimonies of like, yo, I finally got through. And that's the thing, you know, it's something in which I know people are going to celebrate for those that have been going through the things.
Mm-hmm.
When they've gone through it, when they've gotten past it. Those are the people that are going to come in and be like, yo, you know, they celebrate with you, which is exactly what you need. But at the same time, in the meantime, it's like for those that are going through it, but somehow they're just holding on. It's like there's people giving mad props and say, yo, hearing that testimony, you know, has helped me
behind the
because
scenes.
I'm like at my wit's end, you know, with it.
Yeah.
And there's others that have said, yo, hearing that they went through this and that, you know, sharing that they got out and all that, are giving those, you know, those people hope. For those that are having to take additional steps now, you know, probably life-changing steps, life-changing decisions to get out of situations that they're in or make changes in their life for things that they need to do. And yo, to hear that some of y'all that have gotten on with us and have shared your testimony are changing the lives of others, that's what it's about. You can't ask for more than that. You know, it truly is a blessing. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody that here over the last 77 episodes have gone and shared testimony till now. Julie Jules, ever since I spoke, I haven't gotten any more seizures. That's the goodness of God right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that right there is testimony that like God delivers.
These testimonies are eye openers. These testimonies are eye openers. They're solution to a lot of people, man, when you least expect it. And big bro, I'm glad as I was speaking, right? You took the words out of my mouth. like these testimonies that were given, I also wanted to mention, thank you for bringing that up, big bro. I also wanted to mention, I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable because, oh, I haven't given my testimony. I've been
No, not
connected
at
with you
all.
guys for so long. Don't feel uncomfortable because when the time is right, you will. But the most important thing is that whatever you're hearing is the most important thing is that you're receiving and that you're applying it to your life, or that you're, helping others with the message that you've been receiving,
Yep, like
helping
Julie,
others with the
Jules sharing
message.
right now that she hasn't gotten any more seizures
It's major.
since the last time, especially with us talking about it from like the spiritual side of it and everything like that too. Yo, there's people I could tell you. There's somebody that I know that's going through seizures right now. Somebody that I've pastored here for the last few years that has been going through seizures here over the last few months, out the blue, out the blue. It's been now, I think, 6 months, 7 months since they started having them. And it's just like
Yeah.
they'll have it and then they won't have it for a while and then they'll have it again. And then, they got these reoccurrences. And for somebody like them to hear the testimony of like, yo, it's been so long since I had one, and seeing what they receive and then not having it, like that's something that I know that when they hear that testimony is going to help to uplift them. And that's what it's about. Because I remember weeks ago I shared the scripture about how God talks about how we go through these issues and the Holy Spirit, consoles us, helps us through it. God provides for us and helps us through the situation and everything, right? And then for what reason? Because for those that don't know him, you can come in now knowing God, knowing the Holy Spirit, knowing who's done the work. You're now the vehicle that's used for those who believe and don't believe to be that testimony, to be the person that consoles them, to help them through that. Because this is now a situation in which you're not going to be just empathetic, you're going to be sympathetic because you've actually gone through it.
Exactly.
So that helps that other person to edify them, to build them up, which the word itself talks about how we're supposed to be building up. So, like I know, for example, like Julie's testimony, that helps to edify the faith of somebody else who's going through it right now and is undergoing the difficulties, to say like, yo, I see that there's hope. I see that there's a future in this. I see that I'm not alone. I see that this person is doing things. You know what I'm saying? I see that stuff is happening. I see that this person is not just doing things and is doing well in their life, but at the same time, I see that what this person is doing is still allowing them to go and give back to others that are in need. You know what I'm saying? And that right there is like, yo, the fact that they're doing it. So it helps to edify. The testimony helps to edify. And that right there is exactly fulfilling what the word says, to come in and be the consoler. Where the Holy Spirit consoled you before, now you get to be the consoler, and somebody else needed to hear that. And those that need, those who already believe are consoled and they move forward with that hope. And those that don't, that now opens the door for like, yo, but I couldn't have done it without God. I couldn't have done it without Jesus or whatever. And right there, boom, doors open, and hopefully that helps to save somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's all with a plan, yo. It's all with a plan. And that's why I give thanks to y'all that have shared testimony here over the last 77 weeks. It's been a blessing, and we hear from what people say. You can't ask for more than that.
And it's not good to hold back. It's not good to hold it in. It's not good it's better for you to express yourself, for you to let out whatever it is that you're feeling inside. It doesn't have to be on live. Whatever issue you're experiencing, whatever troubles you're having, if you have someone that you can talk to, it's a great outlet. You know what I mean? Because the less you have in you, the less you're holding in, the more the better it is for you, the better it is for your situation, the better it is for your well-being and those who are with you in your journey. Because sometimes we block our blessings, right, by just holding it in and just telling ourselves that we got it, and yeah, okay, I believe that we do got it, we have it. But you also got to remind yourself, this is why the power of prayer is major. This is why you speaking to someone is major, because this is how you're going to receive your message. This is how you're going to receive the way, where there's a will, there's a way. You're going to receive it by putting it out, right? And you don't want to put it out in a burst, right? You don't want to wait till you're upset to bring out the truth of what it is that you're going through, of what it is that you're feeling. You want to go ahead and put it out, before it gets to that point. And remember, we all learned this. Some of us, we learned this the hard way, and it's amazing the changes that are taking place. It's amazing the impact, um, just the platform in general, how it's been helping people in so many ways, and how a lot of people are being put on because of these type of discussions. I mean, remember, like I always mention, you can be doing so many other things, but the fact that you're taking the time to listen, to learn, to receive, um, to receive whatever message you're receiving, on a Thursday, whatever message you're receiving through our content in general. It doesn't only have to be on Thursday. It could be through Pastor Carlos's sermons, every Sunday. It can be through his posts, anything that he posts up on in his story or on his page, or even myself with the content that's being put out. The thing is for you to grow, for you to get through whatever situation you're going through, to continuously receive eye-opening moments, messages, to make sure that you are aligned with your vision, with your purpose, with your healing, with your positivity in general. That's what we're working on, and we're doing overtime when it comes to this. We're on overtime when it comes to this, because we've gone through it so much that it's like we don't want to ever watch or know of anyone that has gone through a similar situation that we're currently going through, or that we've gone through. We want to make sure that you find a way. How many of us are able to admit that we had suicidal thoughts in the past? How many of us are able to admit that we were close to giving up? How many of us are able to admit that we have given up in the past and it wasn't so well? How many of us are willing to admit that? There's a lot of things that people aren't willing to accept or admit because it's a sign of weakness, and it's not. It's strength. You're able to speak on it. You're able to walk somebody through that fire, through that obstacle, teaching them how to break through, teaching them how to find a way, teaching them how to think highly of themselves no matter what they got going on in their life. Because it is what it is. We're living, and life is made up of ups and downs. And if there was no ups and downs, then what is life? How are we going to be kept? How are we going to be kept on our toes if there's no ups and downs?
Thank you. I want to add two quick little things there, because I think it's perfect for what you're saying, little bro. The first is the word itself talks about giving testimony, the importance of testimony, right? And I want y'all to understand that there's a reason why the enemy has a lot of people shut up and not say anything and be ashamed of what they've been going through. Like, for example, if you had those suicidal thoughts, right? And God delivers you from those suicidal thoughts, there's a lot of people go, man, they would say to themselves, man, I won't share that because I don't want to worry nobody. I don't want people to think I'm crazy. I don't want them to think mostly I was foolish. Exactly. It's all about perception. It's all about perception. You're 100% on the money.
Embarrassing, like an embarrassment, the shame. You don't have to feel that.
You got people that when it comes to like the financial issues, I don't want people to know the financial struggles that I went through. I don't want them to know that to be successful, I had to go through all these difficulties. I lost everything. Like, for example, you could look at somebody like Tyler Perry, who essentially was like, had nothing, was on, was pretty much on the street and all that stuff to some degree, and it was like, no, like he gave his all to the very end, and that turned it around. That, along with faith that he had, went and turned it around. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't want to share that because they worry about the perception. But the thing is, if you don't share, right? If you don't give that testimony, no, because you worry so much about the perception, there's somebody else that's not as fortunate as you, who has a lesser measure of faith, right? Their struggle, they might feel themselves less capable of doing it. Nobody cares. God don't care. Nobody, it's just bad. And they might be at the cusp of giving up, which in some cases might even mean taking their own life. You know what I'm saying? And in doing so, the testimony, look at how key things are. The testimony that the enemy has you hold back because of how he thinks, he wants to make you believe that you're going to be perceived, and the judgment that you're going to get from others, even though we're called to talk about that, even though we're called to give that testimony and everything, the fact that you hold it back is what what potentially stops somebody else's life from being saved, or stops them from undergoing the difficulties that they're undergoing to such an extreme. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's ultimately about. You have to believe that that's all with a purpose, because you went through it for a reason. You didn't go through it for no reason. You went through it to build up faith. You went through it probably to build up character. You went through it to, to go and have faith that God is going to go ahead and do something in it, and especially if you got a chance to see the turnaround, there's nothing to be ashamed of, because let's call it what it is, especially if you went through it and you're still standing and you're still here, and especially if the Lord already turned it around, or maybe he just did something as basic as providing for you in those difficult moments, right? If you're not willing to talk about it because you're embarrassed, then you're also embarrassed to talk about what God did for you, because you can't say God did something for you if you're hiding and making everything that you've suffered a cult. If you're putting it in the shadows and saying no, nothing ever happened, but God just blessed me. The story's always much more powerful. Look at Tyler Perry's story. We'll go back to Tyler Perry as an example, and this is everybody's example, really. You know what I'm saying? If he were to say, "Oh man, God blessed me with the successful movie studio," okay, dope, black man, highly successful. Look at everything that he's doing. He's good with money and everything, right? But something changes when the story has substance to it, when the story now has layers, when there's depth to it, and you're able to say, you're not just giving a boom, I'm in this current part of my story right now. When you're able to say, look at point A, point B, point C, point D, point, whatever, even if it's just point A, that your point A is, I lost everything. I had nothing. Like I was down in the dumps. I don't have to tell you about how I got there, but let me just tell you that I pretty much lost everything. And the Lord resurrected that and brought me back, and now look at the movie studio I got. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's like, he lost everything though. And look at where he's at now. You see what I'm saying? There's difference when you have depth. And the last thing I'm going to add, bro, and I'll kick it back to you, is you hit the nail on the head when you talked about, like, there are those bad times. There's going to be those bad times. Let me tell you, if you think that you're never going to have bad times, and guess what? The fact that you believe that you're never going to have bad times, that life is always going to be perfect, that you're going to be able to always have this perfect life and everything. If you live the life of perfection, then guess what? You would ultimately believe that you don't need anyone, much less need the Lord, because you yourself are self-sustaining and nothing bad ever happens to you. When you encounter difficulty, that's when you're like, there's nothing more humbling, but at the same time, nothing more worthwhile and nothing more uplifting than to know when it was at my worst and there was no other out, there was no other solution to the situation, there was nothing else that I could do, there was nothing that anybody could do for me, and all of a sudden, somehow, some way, God comes through for me. That helps to build faith. That builds faith, and faith moves mountains. So when you start to build up faith and the bad situations come and you have faith because other bad circumstances, other bad situations help to build up your faith, faith moves mountains. What does that mean? That when you now encounter the difficulties later, you'll be like, I remember these other times though that life was bad and he got me through it. So I'm expecting that it's going to turn around again. You know what I'm saying? So we have to come to the understanding of that. Because if you don't have that, you're ultimately going to be living a sorry life. I hate to break it to you. You're going to be living a real sorry life. And let me tell you, a roller coaster that's on the same level the whole time and has no drops, has no lifts, no loop-de-loops, no nothing. Let's not even put the loop-de-loops in there. Let's just say the rising and the drops. If it's just all level, that's going to be the most boring ride you've ever been on in your life. There's people that will tell you in the roller coasters, why do they like the drops? Why do they like getting down to the very bottom after they've been all the way at the top? It makes them feel alive. They like the rush. Now, it's not to say that we have to enjoy the rush of hitting rock bottom, especially when you've been up top, you know. Trust me, I've been there, you know, but there's a lot of lessons. There's a lot of lessons. So it's like, that's where we need to understand. And let me tell you, I thought I was blessed, and you know this, little bro. I thought I was blessed as I went up and up and up and up and up and up and up. But I cannot tell you how blessed I have found myself to be and how much I have learned. The most key important point is that when you are going on the drop and you see that the Lord provides, and it doesn't mean it's in the best way that you understand, but it's in his best timing and his best ways, right? When you come to realize that he's caring for you on that drop, yo, you get to actually see him working, bro. And I know you've experienced it. You get to see him working in ways that sometimes you would have never imagined. And that's where you get to realize the biggest gift of all, that he actually cares about you. Because on the rise, you were being blessed. And you have this thing of like, oh, yeah, he cares about me. But it's also easy for you to say, but it's because I did this. I made this smart move. I made this smart decision. I did this. I did that. But when it's on the drop and you know nobody can handle that ride but him, that's where you get to realize, yo, he had me all through this drop. He was holding me in this whole drop. He cares about me through this whole drop, because where I should have had no food on my table, he provided a way. Where I should have had these difficulties, and I did, he provided a door. When he did this, you know, when I had this problem, he did this. When I had that problem, he did that. When the enemy attacked you here, he did this. That's where you get to see him work the most, be more evident. And you're like, wow, I never realized he loved me that much. I thought I knew he loved me before, but I never realized he loved me this much. And that's a difference, bro. That's a difference. I've lived it. That's why I give my testimony freely. You, I know, little bro, have lived it, and you've given testimony. And bro, one day the day will come where you and I will share big testimonies of stuff that we haven't shared before. Because if people knew that, believe me, it'd be on a whole nother stratosphere.
Of course.
But that's why we can say with certainty that we believe that he has you, and we believe that he's going to deliver you. That's why when Julie Jules, and Julie, I'm so thankful even for the testimony that you've given tonight, to say, yo, I was getting them every week, but it's been 3 weeks since my last one.
Mm-hmm.
That night we prayed over you. That night we asked for deliverance of it. That night we prayed that the enemy and anything, you know, and anything that he's been sending at you be cast out, and all that stuff. We gave that declaration. To hear that after going week after week after week after week, that you have now gone 3 weeks without it, that helps to build up faith that, yo, what God calls us to do, to at a distance call for your healing, and believe that in the same way that Jesus Christ did it, that he would heal you from afar, just with us saying like, yo, you're healed. With us being able to deliver, you know, by just saying like, we're not going to deliver, but Jesus Christ is going to deliver you from whatever's causing that. And seeing that you've now gone 3 weeks without it, that even helps to build up faith, because it's like, yo, God wants to use us. And here is the beauty of it. He doesn't just want to use me. He doesn't just want to use Jay Mejia. I'm not even going to talk about your calling, bro. We'll leave that for another day. But he wants to use everybody that's connected on the live. He's interested in using every one of us. So for somebody like Julie Jules, I'll give an example. The fact that I'm sure that you've seen the love that he has and the care that he's done what he's done. But I fully believe that there will be a day in which you'll come to the understanding that, yo, I was delivered from it. And there's nothing special about the people that God called to do that. So I'm going to take a step forward when I encounter somebody that has seizures and pray over them and lay hands on them and declare like, yo, you can be delivered from that because I went through it and I've been delivered. You know what I'm saying? So that's not just her, but everybody here has gone through some stuff. Everybody here needs deliverance from something. Everybody here needs to be freed of something. Don't be ashamed to ask for the prayer. Don't be ashamed to ask for deliverance. Don't be ashamed to ask for the help, because we want to do it. But more importantly than that, we want to do it because God has called us to do it, and we believe that he's going to do it through us. And the fact that you come up and say it means that if you put if you reach us in private, or you put a message right here and you ask for the prayer, or you send it anonymous or whatever, and we go, when we pray over it, we believe that he's going to use us, even if it's at a distance. He's going to use us to speak the word, and that you will be healed. You will be delivered. You will be freed of whatever your affliction is. So again, I give thanks to the testimony, but believe me, nothing's more beautiful than to know that he's got you, And we know that he does. We know it because he's got us. We've lived it. We continue to live it day in, day out. And believe me, he cares about you the same way. There's not levels to it.
I want to go ahead and add on something, big bro, there.
Go ahead.
You have to appreciate rock bottom. You have to appreciate those difficult moments, because from these moments, that's when you've learned the most. You've learned how to budget. You've learned how to value a lot of moments in your life a lot more. You learn how to be happy with less, right? Because if you are just blessed over and over and over again, you're just going to be expecting nothing but good, but you're not going to be willing to learn from those bad moments. So don't be ashamed of that. And there's a lot of things that go on in our life. From the ways we've grown up, from what we've gone through as a child, what we've gone through in our teens, all the way into adulthood, or even learning how this system works, right? How you're supposed to have your life set by a certain age, and how things are supposed to be stable by then. Every life is different. And there's a lot of people out here comparing their life to others. And there's a lot of people doing unintentionally, all because of how we were raised, how we were taught, what we've learned in the school system, what we've learned just on the way up. But then you also have people doing intentionally, because they're just constantly comparing themselves to others. What is it that you do? How much money are you making? Oh yeah? What's your title? Like, who cares about that? How are you mentally? How are you emotionally? How are you feeling? How's your family doing? And this is what we got to focus more on. And this is the reason why you have a lot of people who are feeling ashamed, who are feeling low, because they haven't reached their so-called level of success based on what a system has put in place, based on what that school system was telling you that you were supposed to be at this point of your life by 28, by 22, by 30 something, by 40 something, whatever that is. Listen, live your life and don't worry about that at all. Don't worry about it, because what really matters most is you being stable. What really matters most is you having food on your table. What really matters most is you having a way to your finances, to be able to pay these bills, to be able to provide in general, to be able to provide. We learn so much from rock bottom, because we learn how to value so much more with less. How is it that you change your mindset? How is it that you change your perspective on things? Is by those difficult moments. You know what? I thought I needed this this car. I thought I needed this house, or I thought I needed this substance, or I thought I needed this and that. But you start to realize, you start receiving your answers as you're going through life. You start learning that, you know what, maybe I wanted to be a police officer, or I wanted to be a teacher, I wanted to be a counselor, but maybe you have a different calling. There's a lot of people out there who went to school for things, and they're not even in that profession today, because they're so much happier they're running a business. They never saw themselves running a business. And you also got to understand that not everyone is going to be willing to give you this information. Not everyone's going to be willing to be so open about it, because again, by saying these things to many is a sign of weakness. And we learn from other people's situation. I like what you brought up, Big Bro, about Tyler Perry, man. And it's major because his story is amazing, right? Popularity is one thing that makes these people famous, or anyone famous, right? If you're popular, whatever it is, if you make music, you're an actor, actress, whatever it is that you do, your art is what grabs people attention. But you know what keeps people there with you growing throughout your career? It's those biographies, it's those testimonies. Because not only are you selling the material, the content, but you're selling yourself as a person. Look who I was. Look who I am today. Look at the mindset that I had before. Look at the mindset that I have today. Now you're connecting with your fans. You're not just gaining fans from what you're doing today. You're connecting with your fans because of who you are, because of who you've been, because of what you've gone through. Now you're connecting because you're actually not selling content. You're actually giving hope at the same time. It's like people out here who want to go ahead and sell a product. Okay, you can sell this product, but who is selling this product? How is this product going to benefit me, right? If someone's going to buy a book on you or on your life, they're buying it not only because they want to know. You have a lot of people who are curious, right? So they're going to buy because I want to see what they got to write about. I want to see what this is all about. But then you have other people who want to know because they want to learn from you. They want to learn from your life. They want to learn from your situation because they may be going through a difficult moment. And they know that this world is full of abundance. It's full of opportunity. So they want to learn from the people who are pure, from the people who are transparent, from the people who are willing to speak on the most difficult moments and not just the prize, not just the rewards. They want to know about the risk. They want to feel comfortable with others knowing, like, hey, listen, it's not going to be easy. I didn't get from point A to point B on a straight line. I started on a straight line, major decline, and I could have stood down here and just given up, but I chose to work my way up and never give up on my dream and never give up on what it is that I want to do. Why? Because life ain't perfect. It's not always going to be a straight line. If yours was a straight line, God bless you. Learn how to appreciate it. There's a lot of people who are born into rich families. But guess what? Guess what? You can see that they're not exempt from going through depression, from anxiety, because they have so much access to so many things that sometimes it doesn't go so well for them. But then you have people who are in the trenches, who are in the community, in poor communities, who have already gone through difficult moments. It's been real rocky for them, but then they were able to make it, able to succeed, because being rich is not always the success. The success is to still make it out of those difficult moments. It's that simple.
Speak on it.
It's that simple. It's not about being rich. It's not about reaching that point where you want it to be. Opportunities out here are endless, but it's all about how you've gotten through. What is it that you've gone through? What is it that you're doing along the way? What is it that you're doing along the way? Are you realizing a lot of things? Are you learning from your experiences? Are you learning from your ups and downs? Because you got to grab from the good and the bad in order for you to maintain stability. It is what it is. And don't feel ashamed whenever you're like stable at one point in your life, but now you're unstable. That's normal. Every journey is different. Every life is different. It's all about continuing to go through it, continuing to push through and not giving up on you, but also using your journey to encourage others, to help them get through. That's a perfect example, man. When you brought up Tyler Perry, look how successful he is today. And it's like a lot of people think that, oh, he's in the industry, so this is why he's getting all these opportunities. This is why he's being blessed. You don't know what somebody go through or what they had to go through to get to where they are today. You really don't know.
Just to give y'all a little bit behind it. So he suffered what he considered to be a living hell during childhood, with bad father, to the point that he changed his name, found out that he wasn't actually, the biological son of that guy, was molested by somebody, and then later was molested by a friend's mother at age 10, molested by 3 men prior to that, right? So you talking about a lot of different things.
We're talking about
Has
Tyler?
talked about when
I didn't know
Ellen's DJ committed suicide. He opened up about how when he was struggling, he thought about committing suicide a few different times. So again, that means you had major issues going on, right? And then to top it off, he wasn't even a success. When he moved to Atlanta to go and do, his theater and everything like that, he launched with the $12,000 that he had in life savings. He went and used that money to fund this play, and all for what? It bombed. It was a financial failure. You know what I'm saying? And he's talked about the failures in that. So when you talk about, oh, nah, he just did it. This is why it's important to know many times the journey, because it's not just a point, it's not just, oh, I made it. It's what did it take for you to make it? What did you suffer through? It's like it's like the same thing biblically. You don't see, oh, Joseph ruled over Egypt. Oh, Jesus was resurrected. Oh, Noah went and he survived by being in the ark. And we can continue to go on and on and on and on. David was king. No, the Bible gives you all of the details as to how they got there. With Joseph, how he made it, how he had to be sold into slavery, how he was then put in jail, how he was forgotten about, how all the different things that happened to him personally that are years and years and years and years of failure and anguish and unfair situations in order to be where he was. Jesus suffered through everything, being the Messiah. You got people that even believed in him one minute and then turned their back on him the next. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's betrayal. That's people essentially using you for their convenience. When there's something that they can gain out of you, they're going to have you there, they're going to use you, and then when it's inconvenient, they're going to turn their back on you, and they don't care if you get crucified. That's the worst. You know what I'm saying? That led to death. We don't just see resurrection, we see everything that he had to suffer in order to become sympathetic to what we've gone through, which was part of the reason why he made it as man, was because so he can go through all the things that we suffer. That's understanding. You know what I'm saying? And it's not something that he needed to do. We can go, Noah, bro, a lot of people don't know. Rain did not exist. Rain had not fallen when Noah built the ark and was telling, and I'm sure people were asking, what the heck are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm building this ship. Why? Because of the rain that's going to fall. The earth is going to flood. What the heck are you talking about? It doesn't rain. What is rain? Imagine somebody telling you what is rain, and you're like, yo, I just heard that some water is going to fall out the sky. I don't know. People, I'm sure, thought he was crazy. You know what I'm saying? There's a battle there. There's things that people go through. Saul, David was anointed as king when he was little. Didn't become a king, and I think until in like his 30s. You know what I'm saying? That's years of attacks, years of battles, years of having to be outside your land. But there's a difference when you talk about the story that you had to go through to get there. That's the importance of it. Not just, oh, these people did it. They made it. Look at what they did. Oh, Tyler Perry just has this crazy money. Talk about the journey. Talk about those details. Talk about what they suffered. That is called testimony. Imagine if the Bible had no testimonies. If God was like, no, as I'm inspiring you to write the word, don't include testimonies. Just talk about Joseph was a ruler over Egypt and he was Jewish. Look at what he did. It would not have the same effect. God used those testimonies to help to build our faith even today, because he still speaks through that for the circumstances that you and I go through. There's times where if you open up the word, you'll be like, yo, I ain't never read this, or I read it before, but now that I'm reading it and I'm going through this situation, I'm understanding, and I could see how God took him through it. Now I feel like, oh man, he's got me. You know what I'm saying? That's why you give the details. That's why the details are there. That's why the testimony is there. Yo, we can go on and on and on with people's testimonies of people that failed so much until they became successful,
Man, and it gets real uncomfortable. It gets real uncomfortable. This is why you got to be careful with what you read and what you see, because every journey is different. And, it's gonna get real uncomfortable when you're out here taking risks. And I can actually speak on this, Big Bro. I know you can speak on it yourself, and there's many other people. We're not the only ones, but I can definitely speak on this with the risks that I've been taking the past few months, past year and a half. I would say. I mean, I would say even longer than that. There's been a lot of success, but there's also been a lot of failure. But I continue to try. I continue to push through. And I always remind myself, try and fail, but never fail to try. I always remind myself. I also remind myself, I can and I will. I can and I will. There's been even moments where I've questioned and I've doubted, right? Not everyone's willing to put that out there. I've questioned and I've doubted because I was this close to give up every single time. But it's a constant battle because, again, we're not perfect. We're not perfect. There's times when I want to give up. There's times when I feel the most stressed. I just want to give in and settle for less. But then I remind myself, it might not even be that instant moment. It might be that night or the next morning when I was able to just get some rest, refresh my mind, and like, man, I was a real fool for thinking what I was thinking last night, for thinking what I was thinking yesterday afternoon. I can actually make it happen. I can and I will. Try and fail, but never fail to try. And just continue to remind myself in many ways, because again, it's not going to be perfect. And you know what? We make it look easy. The reason why we make it look easy is because we've gone through so much. We've gone through so much. And we're not the only ones. We're not the first and we're not the last.
Yep.
But we're able to give the testimony. We're able to speak on what's actually taking place. And I know that, like, it's funny because the past 2 days I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I just want to make sure that people get a full grasp of this message. Continue to do what you do. Don't feel ashamed. Especially, I know it's easy when you have a family that's looking up to you, that's counting on you, and not only are you creating a difficult season for you, not that you're creating a difficult season, that you're in a difficult season, and you're putting your family through it, just so that you're able to bring them out of it. The same way
Yep.
you're going to bring yourself out of it, and just reminding yourself that every journey is different. Every life is different. Don't compare yourself to your neighbor. Don't compare yourself to your friend. Don't look at the other car that's being driven. Don't look at the house that's owned. Worry about your path. Worry about what it is that you're going for. Don't let the distractions get into your life, get into your head, because that's the most dangerous thing. Because once you let it get into you, it can start destroying you and setting you up to lead towards self-destruction. You don't want to do that. You really don't want to do that because there's so much ahead. And just this can be a learning experience, for those who have children, you wouldn't think that, you wouldn't think that you would have put your child through this difficult situation. Now they're very limited to the courses that they're able to take, the activities that they're able to do. That's just fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to stay focused because you know what? It may be this season, but the next season it's not going to be the same. And that's what you got to focus on. Focus on the prize. Focus on the reward. Go through and take those risks because you know what? At the end, they're going to learn from this too. They're going to learn the values of a difficult moment, the values of the great seasons. Oh my God, I remember that when I couldn't go to these classes, but now I'm able to. Or I remember when we used to live in this house, but look at how we're living now. I remember when we weren't able to eat certain things, but now look at what we're eating now. I remember when I wasn't able to own these sneakers or, they're watching.
Yep.
So now remember, if you overreact and if you're not controlling yourself emotionally or mentally, they're learning from this. So if you feeling like you're self-destructing, no, learn how to use your strengths, learn how to apply faith, learn how to continue to move and making sure that you don't let your household feel whatever it is that you're going through because they're watching you and they're learning from it. And you know what? One day, it may not be your time. Whatever, something, I got to put this out here too, bro.
Go ahead.
There's times that whatever it is that you're going for, you think that's exactly what you need. And you're totally wrong.
Wow.
Sometimes you're going for things that you think is what you need. And you know what? Maybe it's your turn to go through this difficult moment because your relatives are learning a lesson from this and they are going to be blessed by what you're going through now. You're going for the wrong things. Maybe you're going for a little too much because you're still stuck in the ways of your early teens. I need $1 million by now. I need 2.1. I need hundreds of thousands of dollars. Nah, maybe you need the experience. Maybe you just need 100,000. Maybe you just need 200,000. But to upstart whatever it is that your loved ones are watching, your children are watching you do, they're the ones that are going to be blessed eventually because of the lessons that they've been learning along the way. We're going for the wrong thing. Sometimes we got to accept, you know what, maybe this is the business that I thought we needed, but nah, maybe there's another one ahead. Maybe there's another one that we got to go for. And it's hard because starting from scratch can be scary. Losing it all can be scary. And sometimes you're more concerned about the conversation you had with those that you've been comparing your life with. You've been telling someone that you're aiming for this career, you're aiming for this profession, you're aiming for this position, for this title. And now you're afraid to say, you know what? I've had a setback and I've realized that this wasn't for me and I'm just going to start all over in this field.
Yep.
I'm going to start all over in this opportunity. You're afraid what other people are going to say and you're losing track. You're losing focus on what really matters, on what your calling is, on where you're supposed to be heading in life. And don't get discouraged. It's going to get difficult. Don't get discouraged. It's going to get difficult no matter what you choose to do because it's not going to come easy. You read on success stories and successful stories and, you know, that this is the way, this is the path. You know what? Maybe this business is a lot better. No, that business was better for that person that you're reading on, but it's not good for you. Maybe the money that's going to come from that business that other person is being blessed with is not good for you because it's going to turn you into a total different person. It's going to take you away from those blessings, from those lessons that you've been learning from to convert you to who you are today, to being more humble, to being more understanding, to being more careful. I mean, I can tell you, they can drop a briefcase in front of our door today, 5 of us, and we're all going to react different to that briefcase. There's going to be most of us are going to lose it all. There's going to be most of us who are going to mishandle that money. Very few are going to know what to do with it. Some people are going to go for the material things. Other people are going to go for the generational wealth. Other people are going to hurt themselves, harm themselves. We have to appreciate the life that we have. We have to appreciate the difficult moments. We have to appreciate the good and the bad. We have to be willing to accept both. You know, the more that I talk on this, the more that I'm able to express myself with this, the more I'm able to learn from it myself. Because again, we're not gurus. We're constantly, as we're talking, we're constantly reminding ourselves where we're heading. We're constantly reminding ourselves where we are today. And most importantly, the why. We know the why. You deep down inside know the why for your problem, for your success today, for where you're heading. You know the why. But some of us don't want to accept the why. Some of us don't want to entertain that why because it's not the why that we're expecting. So guess what? Wherever you are today, your main focus should be, where are you mentally? Where are you emotionally? Where are you spiritually? Because that's where it's going to lead to your physical state. Health-wise, milestone-wise, you have to be good in those 3 areas before you're able to be blessed in all those other areas. And learn how to accept whatever comes your way. Learn how to accept it and move forward with it. It's going to get real uncomfortable. It's not going to happen the way you want it to happen, but guess what? Are you going to complain? Are you going to dwell? Are you going to stay there where the setback is? Or are you going to move forward from it? Are you going to grow from it? It amazes me how far we've all come, where we are. And and for those who are in a great place today, in a great season, once again, God bless you. For those of you who are in a difficult season, God bless you for the lessons you've been learning. God bless you for still being here, breathing, able to function, able to make decisions, able to still see tomorrow, to see today, and to look forward to tomorrow. Because again, there's a lot of people who have plans for today and they're no longer here. Major plans. You don't have to be rich to have plans. Everyone has a plan. And every plan is going to be executed differently. Some people are going to have to go through some hurdles, through some obstacles, but it's all about getting through. It's all about focusing on getting through. Don't ever compare your life to someone else. Don't ever allow someone else to get to that point. Any conversation that you're feeling uncomfortable, that you're feeling like you're being measured, remove yourself. You don't have to be there. It's gonna cause a lot of long-term problems. If you're having a conversation with someone that's very healing, very eye-opening, that is nothing but full of awareness, those are the people that you got to stick close, keep close, because those are the people that are going to continue to help you grow, to help you build your future, to help you get through that difficult moment, that difficult day, that difficult situation. Those are the ones that are going to help you, not those that are just calling you to let you know, hey, I know you're struggling, but can I talk to you real quick? Look at what I got today. Being measured. You don't want that. If you look at your contact list, there's very few people who you're able to go to. Very few. There's people out there who have no one to go to, but God, of course. But there's also people who need that reminder. For those who don't have or feel that they have no one to go to, power of prayer. You have you have God there leading the way, but also pray for the right people in your circle. Pray for the right resources, because there's going to be people that are going to come in and out of your life. They're going to come in and out. There's people that are going to enter your life, but it's not always going to be for the good. So you have to learn how to distinguish and realize, you know what, this person's not for me, or this environment's not for me, or this setting is not for me. I don't belong here. You're going to have to put some effort and not just expect things to happen because you prayed on it or because you've asked for it. You have to put a lot of effort into where you're heading. No one's going to come with handouts. No one's going to grab you by the hand and lead the way. No one's going to do that. Never get discouraged when you come across an obstacle, a difficult moment, because you will get through. But you have to understand that when there's an obstacle for a reason. It was a decision you made. It's part of the process. Learn from it anyway. Whatever the reason for that obstacle, face it. Don't delay the process. Don't delay the blessing. Face it. Break through it, because you will. You're never alone. And I don't get tired of saying this. Big bro, Pastor Carlos, don't get tired of saying it. Reach out if you have to, via DM, via email. Reach out, because the people you least expect are the ones that are going to be there for you the most when you least expect it. And don't leave the assumptions aside. Don't assume. Don't predict. Leave that aside. Oh, why would I send him or her a message? They may think I'm crazy, or they may not even respond. Send it anyway. because you're going to find out who they really are and what they're doing in your life. It's that simple. There's a lot of people out there who are afraid to ask for a raise. I know that's super random, but it's very similar. Ask for it anyway. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? No. You still have your job. Big bro, you're muted, bro.
You should still have your job, you know, and if you don't, that says a whole lot about the place than it does about you, because that right there should have been an indicator you don't need to be there. You know what I'm saying? So, and the same goes for a lot of different things. If you reach out to somebody and their response is completely unexpected, guess what? That says the way they respond will say a lot about them, will say a lot about their character, will say a lot about the relationship that you think you have with them. God allows all this stuff in order for things to be revealed. Everything that's hidden in the darkness will come to light. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, little bro, it's for a purpose.
You know, I even want to put another example out there. I mean, the men and women out there, you know, we all have gone through this. You know, you feel good with someone, you know, you're finally opening up, you're feeling real comfortable, and the famous question comes up, hey, how do you see me? How do you feel about me? Because you want things to get a little more serious. And there's people who choose to build with you, and there's people that separate themselves from you. And that's both okay, because you're going to receive your answer. You're not going to be wasting any time. You're not going to be used, or you're not going to be using that person, because we're not always the victim, right? Sometimes we are the problem. But in this life, either you grow together or you grow apart. You have to accept both. You can't have it all. You can't have it your way at all times. You have to understand that you have a life. You have to understand that someone else has a life. You see it a certain way, other people see it a certain way, and you have to accept it. You have to accept it. Jael just dropped a testimony update. September 2022, I became homeless. Wow. I became homeless, slept in my car 3 nights, stayed with friends for 4.5 months. On January 29, 2023, I moved into a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. I paid off 2 of 5 loans. God did that. God did.
Amen.
Amen. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know what someone's going through. You don't even know what someone's going through. And the little that you know, or just by what you see, it's not always what you think. They keep a smile on their face. The faith is beyond whatever the faith meter is.
I'll even go a step further, bro. Some people that have been on with us, that are regulars on the lives with us on Thursdays, have received and have shared with us how things that Jael has shared before, testimony that she shared, powerful word that you know, how that has impacted them, how that's transformed them, how that made them think something different. Imagine that in the midst of all of that she just shared. See what I'm saying? So I want y'all to understand, the circumstances that you're going through do not diminish the authority of what God wants to do through you. They're completely separate. Whatever you're going through, regardless of the circumstances, as long as you got your eyes fixed on Him, He's going to take care of it. He always does. When you're, when you're trying to walk with Him, be obedient to Him, and all that other stuff, He's going to take care of it. He's got you. It's part of that roller coaster, and on the way down, you're going to see the more and more that He has you. But notice, a lot of y'all have been like, yo, this is somebody with authority. Yo, this is somebody speaking like truth. This is somebody I know God is talking to me through this person, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And some of y'all didn't even know that they were going through that. But to God be the glory, because there were lives transformed by how God has used her during that time. And then to top that off, you know, you get to see again point A to point B, but there's a whole lot more coming. God ain't done. God's got a whole lot more. I know it.
For real.
I know it.
Amen. For real. It's been major. Jai, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. I hope, you know what? Almost missed that. Let me go ahead and pin that because I want people to read, whoever enters, whoever's, make sure to read that testimony. And it's been major what Jai's been doing. When was it, big bro? Was it 2 Sundays ago?
Yeah, I think two Sundays ago she preached. If y'all haven't caught it,
make sure to watch.
It's there on the Refiners YouTube, on the Refiners Facebook, I believe, as well. Major. You know, a lot of people impacted by that one. So, you know, by that sermon that she gave. So again, it's, you know, God is using people. And it doesn't mean your situation is perfect, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with your situation or your circumstances.
It's just like how Refiners Church is making so many people feel, not only physically, but thank God through technology, through the streaming, you can feel like the presence there. You can actually feel the positive vibes. You feel the real intention of the good intention you guys have in general for everyone, you know, open arms, open doors. You have a shoulder to lean on. Like, we're here to hear you out. We are here for you. Like, we're actually here for you. That's what I get. No matter what the message is on that given Sunday, It's like you're there for everyone. You know, Jael is there for everyone. Shout outs to everyone involved with Refiners Church. And if they were truly to know every single individual there, they'll understand. Eventually, they'll know. They'll know, like, this is real. You know, this is real, and we need more of that. We need more people like you all. You know, we need more people who are,
bro.
Yeah, no, for real. Because the thing is, we don't have it. We don't have it, and there's a lot of people out here behaving a certain way because they haven't come across individuals like us who are willing to be open, who are willing to be honest, who are willing to be transparent, who are willing to share, you know, to be empathetic, to be willing to listen, to understand, because there's a lot of people listening out there, but they're not doing so much. They're just listening. It goes in one ear and out the other. All they want to do is benefit from someone. All they want to do is just, you know, get the day over with, or, you know, get the conversation over with. Like, we're here being very careful when we're listening to people. When we hear you out, we really want to know what's going on. We want to know how we can get you out of that situation, out of that mindset, changing your perspective in general to the point where you are on your own and spreading not only the message that was given to you, but just in general, making changes and healing others and helping others grow.
Fact.
Right? It's not like we have a secret recipe that we want to hold back and not share with anyone. You know, no. What we're giving to you is what we want to give. It is what we want you to give to others that you come across. Plain and simple. Jair said Pastor Carlos and Pastor Jessica, Pastor Jessica are the real deal. Refiners Church cares with the heart of Jesus. Amen.
And that's what it's about. And
you'll see for
we
yourself.
Just want, you can come experience it for yourself, or follow it. Come experience it, however it is.
Drop it in the chat.
I just also want to give thanks too, man. You know, we talked about we've been at this now almost 3 months, but we just started putting it live. I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks now, bro, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I want to give y'all thanks, man, because God's doing big things, and I want to share with y'all where we were doing 100 views, you know, on Instagram, 100 views on YouTube and then Facebook and all that stuff. Y'all are really showing the support. Y'all are really, sharing. People are really watching. God is being moved, and it's all for His glory, so that they can, people can receive and their lives can be transformed. I want to share with y'all last week's sermon to date. Just under 300 people have viewed, which it's just like we're continuing study, and we're extremely small. Again, these are numbers that sometimes churches that are 1,000 people are not doing. So God is doing something. So we thank you guys. We want y'all to continue to be part, and we want to be able to serve you guys the way that we can. We talked about it earlier. Julie Jules talked about how, when we prayed over her, when we prayed for deliverance, when we prayed for freedom, when we prayed for all that, 3 weeks she's been seizure free after being with seizures weekly. So God is doing something. So don't hold back. No, it's the real deal. We are here to serve you. God has put us here to serve you, but you have to come, right? You have to come to us and let us know, how can we pray for you? Can God do something supernaturally and give us, you got to pray for this person? Absolutely. But sometimes what God needs you to do, and you have so many examples in the Word, He needs you to be the one to step up and say, I need this. The woman that had with the issue of blood, she came up to Jesus. The man who wanted his daughter to be healed, he came up to Jesus, and we can continue on and on and on. All these people that needed something, they came up to ask for it. And God, being God, knows already, but there's a difference that happens when these people come up and are like, I need, you know what I'm saying? So come up to us. Let us know what you need. Let us be able to pray for you. Let us be able to deliver you. That's what it's about. Let His glory be seen. So don't hesitate to reach out. But we thank you guys for the support as well. We know that God has put you in there to be able to support, to be able to share. Don't hold it to yourself. Share it. Continue to do that. God's doing great things, and I know He's going to be continued to be glorified. And thank you, Jael, for your comments. We know we always feel the love from her, but but it's just a blessing to be able to serve people and to be able to serve her. She's one of the first ones that we were really, that we've been really able to be pastors to in terms of caring for people. She's one of the first ones that, since we started opening this, that has received that. But I know, she does the same. She has a heart for that as well, and you'll find that the people in our church,
Definitely.
they have a heart for that as well. So you'll feel at home. So, we take EFAM, we take physical location fam. Don't hesitate. We want to be able to bless your guys' lives. We know God has put us there for you to be blessed, and we want to be able to do that.
Amen. I hope everyone received today. It's been major, the message today. Man, like really, really keep in mind all that's been discussed from beginning to the end of this episode. Really keep that in mind, because everyone deserves peace. Everyone deserves change, growth. Most importantly, healing. We've all got to heal in order for us to get to that next level. In order for us to be able to move in general, we have to constantly heal from many things, whether it's from the past, and there's going to be a lot of things happening right this moment where we have to work on the healing of that as well. And just knowing how not to get stuck in a dark place, knowing that there's light ahead, there's opportunity ahead. No reason to give up. No reason to give up. Keep pushing, keep going. There's a lot that you have on your plate, of course. I'm sure there is, but there's so much more ahead, and there's so much more that you're going to be blessed with eventually. Don't dwell. Don't compare your situations to others, and just keep pushing. Just keep pushing in general. There's a lot of things that you may have to do that's going to hurt, where you have to focus on you, focus on your family, and there's nothing selfish about that, but it's all about the intention and the purpose and how you do it. As long as it's going to help you and others grow, it's the best thing for you do. Disconnect from whatever it is. It can be from a person, place, or thing. Change your setting, and just make sure that you work towards growth and healing in general for you, your family, and for those who are going to eventually be involved with you in the future. So anything you want to go ahead and say, big bro, before we disconnect?
No, y'all just continue to receive, share the testimonies, reach out if you need prayer, reach out for whatever you guys need. We're here for that. But again, just take the seeds of what has been shared with you guys today and just take that in, let that flourish. Big things are happening, but don't let that seed just die. Take it. And believe me, you're going to be much more blessed than you can imagine.
Amen. Amen. This was episode 78. Next week, we have episode 79. We are connected every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Central, and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time, West Coast. We'll give it a few to see if anyone wants to go ahead and connect, want to put out a testimony, anything you want to say on the live, anything you want to go ahead and put out, express, you are more than welcome. This platform is all yours, as we mention all the time. While we wait on anyone to see if they want to connect, you have the option on the bottom right corner of the paper plane to share our content, the live video itself. You do have the option to share the recorded session on YouTube. As you know, whenever you send the YouTube link, everyone has access because YouTube does not require an account to watch any content on their site. So please make sure to share. Please make sure to spread the message, whether it's through our video, our content, whatever you receive, make sure that you discuss with someone, sit down with that person, talk to them, remind them who they are, remind them what they're capable of, remind them what they have in them. That way they can go ahead and bring it out, work on growth and healing in general, as we always mention. If you want to go ahead and drop any message and keep it anonymous, the bottom, you'll see the bubble with the question mark. Go ahead and drop a statement, drop a question. We'll be more than happy to give the best advice or answer possible, to the best of our knowledge, of course. Feel free to join in if you want to. We'll give it a few seconds. Make sure to check the link in my bio. Check out the links there. Check out Pastor Carlos's profile. Make sure to click and follow Refiners Church. Follow them. Follow their YouTube. You have the YouTube link on your page, correct?
Yeah, I believe it's there.
Okay.
Or if you're just following the profile, we go live 12 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Central, 9 a.m. West Coast on Sunday, every Sunday. So as long as you're following Refiners Church, we always drop the story on Sunday. We always put in the story the link to be able to get you to the YouTube stream. And if you're following us, Refiners Church on Facebook, Refiners Church on Instagram, you're going to be able to find all that stuff there. If you're on Facebook, you'll see it on Facebook Live as well. Whatever's your social media platform of choice for streaming, you'll be able to watch it there. So just make sure you're following the page. We drop it either right before or just as the service is starting every Sunday. Just know 12 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Central, 9 a.m. West Coast.
And as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm not sure if you heard what I said, Pastor Carlos, regarding the scheduled live video that I usually have on the profile. Yeah. For some reason, I'm not sure the issues or what's going on, but it's not showing on the profile. However, the live schedule is in place. If there's any issues with that, just let us know. I'll definitely work on just putting it on the story consistently, on the story, on a post, just to remind you. But for some reason, it's not popping up. And I know that that's the easiest way to get the notification, because when you click on it, you get the reminder 2 days before, the day before, and the day of. So if that's not the case, I'll just have to put the story out. So make sure to look out for that. We'll be back on next week for episode 79, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Central, and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time, West Coast. And always remember, patience is a virtue and faith is the substance.
Y'all be blessed.
Have a good night, guys. Take care.